Welcome to Mrs. D's Baking TV. I'm Mrs. D and I simply love to bake. But how about a truth moment? I don't feel like being on camera today. But because this is my channel and this is the way that I set it up, melancholy, sad or not, I got to get it done. So, my daughter-in-law once told me, be honest, if you don't feel like being on camera, tell the people that. So, yeah, I don't feel like filming today, but we're going to get this done anyway. How about that? So today I am going to bake a peach cobbler for you. Now, this particular recipe says that you can peel the peaches or not. I'm going to peel a few just because I want to see whether or not it'll change the taste of the cobbler. So I will peel a few and I will leave a few unpeeled. So follow along as we make peach cobbler. For this recipe, for your filling, you are going to need peaches. Now for this recipe, I am choosing to use fresh peaches because they're in season. You can use canned peaches or even frozen peaches, and you're going to need sugar. Now for your topping, for your cobbler, you're going to need flour, baking powder, salt, of all which I have added to this bowl. You'll need sugar, vanilla extract, and melted butter. To top your cobbler, you'll need carbonado sugar. Now, if you don't have this type of sugar, you can omit this, but I've got some in my pantry, so of course I'm going to use it for this recipe. The gadgets that you'll need for this recipe, you'll need a 9 by 13 baking dish. Now, if you choose to peel your peaches, you can use a peeler, or there are several ways if you're using fresh peaches that you can peel your peaches. You can dip them in a little boiling water and then dip them in ice water and the peel will fall right off. I'm not sure if I'm going to peel these. We'll see. We'll see further along in the video today. But you'll also need a scoop in order to scoop that delicious cobbler on top of your filling. And I always in all my recipes, I always use a little scraper. And that's about it. So follow along as I quickly put together this peach cobbler. I've already washed these peaches, and so now I'm going to slice them thinly. And like I said in the beginning, I will peel some and some I won't because I want to see the difference, if there's a difference in the taste. Oh wow, look at the juice. Wow. Okay, so what I've noticed in cutting this first peach is that the skin on the peach seems to be a little tough. These are very juicy pears, which is a good thing. Pears. These are very juicy peaches, but it's kind of like falling apart. So I am going to peel each and every last peach. Now you only need 4 or 5, so it won't take me long. So let's get this done. So I ended up peeling probably about 12 to 13 of those peaches. They were relatively small, but as you can see, I left the peel on some, and some you can see through my little bowl. I peeled some of them and then sliced them. These are kind of difficult to do. I see why in this recipe. The originator of this recipe says that you can use canned peaches or frozen peaches because that would be an easier way to go. So what I'm going to do is I am going to mix about 50 grams of sugar into my peaches, and then I am going to add it to this 9 by 13 baking pan. I'm using just a glass pan because I want to be able to see my recipe. So let's go ahead and add, and this is more than 50 grams because I I didn't know how juicy these peaches were going to be, and I want my cobbler to be sweet. So we're going to add about half of this sugar to the bowl. We're going to mix these peaches together, and we are going to add them to our 9x13 baking dish, and then we'll get started on the cobbler. Now, you know what? This recipe does not call for you to add salt to the peaches right now, but salt, if you add salt and sugar, doesn't that bring out the flavor? Let's add a pinch of salt. I like customizing recipes. If you watch my channel before, well, that's a lot of salt. If you watch my channel before, you know that I like customizing recipes. So I'm just going to add just a pinch of salt, just to balance out the sweetness. Okay, that covers the entirety of our baking dish. Let's get started on the cobbler. To the mixing bowl, we're going to add the sugar, butter. This recipe called for salted butter, and I normally do not buy salted butter. Didn't have salted butter, so I added just a little bit extra that called for a pinch of salt to our cobbler. I added just a little bit more, and then I added the salt to our peaches, so that may help too. So let's mix this all together. And today, instead of using just regular vanilla, I'm using this Madagascar bourbon vanilla. Can you see that? It's by Nielsen Massey. Isn't that little bottle cute? So it says a teaspoon, but I'm not going to measure. That's about a teaspoon. Mix that all together. And then we are going to top our peaches and get this in the oven and have this dessert ready in no time. And you want the cobbler to have a cookie consistency. And that is exactly what I see here. See that? And now we are going to spread our cobbler mix using our fingers and our spoon. Actually, I'm going to use my fingers to spread that all over our cobbler. All right, now let me let you see what that is looking like. Now we're going to place our cobbler in the oven. I've already preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to bake it for 30 minutes, and then we're going to top it with our turbinado sugar and bake it for an additional 10 minutes. Now that our cobbler has baked for 30 minutes, I'm going to remove it from the oven. And I will top it with the turbinado. I cannot say that word. I'm going to top it with this sugar. And I will bake it for an additional 10 to 15 minutes. After that, I am going to turn on the broiler of my oven and let it broil and brown for about 2 to 3 minutes. Oh my goodness, this looks absolutely delicious and it smells delicious. So I'm going to let this cool for about 30 minutes, and then you know what time it is. Taste test time. So let's let this cool and I'll be back. I've allowed the peach cobbler to cool for exactly 30 minutes. It's still a bit warm to touch, but that's fine. That's fine. At least it won't burn my tongue. So let me let you see what our peach cobbler is looking like. See that? Nice and golden brown. Whoa! That would have been a disaster. Nice and golden brown, and yeah, looks a little crunchy in some areas. That's because I let it broil for the last 10 minutes. So let's serve this up, and you know what time it is. It's taste test time. All righty, let's see what we're working with. Oh, listen at that little crunch. Ooh, nice and juicy. Now, of course, peach cobbler is delicious if you've got some vanilla ice cream or some whipped cream. I don't have either in my kitchen today, but the peach cobbler is what this is what I really wanted. I didn't want to camouflage it with any topping. So let's see how good it is. And as you can see, oh my goodness, it's still smoking. But let's go ahead and taste it. Peaches are nice and soft. Mmm, nice and sweet. And not overly sweet. I was concerned that the sugar that we topped, the turbinab, I cannot get that word out of my mouth today. The extra sugar that we topped it with, I thought it was going to make it a little too sweet, but not at all. This is absolutely delicious. My grandmother used to make peach cobbler all the time. Oh my goodness. Mm, that's good. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, like, share, subscribe, but most of all, bake with your family. Thanks so much. Be blessed. Bye.